The underestimated vessel. The HSS Phoenix hung in the void, its hull gleaming under the light of an alien sun. To Captain Ilara Voss, the ship was a masterpiece of human engineering, sleek, adaptable, and full of potential. To the rest of the galaxy, it was little more than a curiosity, a primitive vessel built by a species that had only achieved faster-than-light travel 3 decades ago. Ilara stood on the bridge, her tall frame silhouetted against the panoramic viewscreen that displayed the sprawling Centauri Nexus station ahead. Her dark hair was pulled back in a practical knot, and her eyes, sharp and calculating, scanned the incoming transmissions. "They're granting us docking permission, Captain," reported Lieutenant Kai Chen from the communications console, "though they've relegated us to the auxiliary bays again." Ilara merely nodded, unsurprised. Humanity was the newest member of the Galactic Consortium, a loose federation of 27 spacefaring species spread across 3 spiral arms. Despite Earth's technological advances, the older species viewed humans as children playing with toys they barely understood. "Standard procedure, Lieutenant," she replied. "Set approach vector and prepare for docking." As the Phoenix maneuvered toward the station, Ilara watched the sleek ships of other species glide effortlessly through space. The crystalline vessels of the Aurelians caught the starlight and fractured it into rainbows. The massive bioorganics Zithrani high ships pulsed with an inner light, dwarfing everything around them. "Chief Engineer Novak reports all systems nominal," Chen announced. Though he's still grumbling about the refueling restrictions, Ilara smiled faintly. "Tell him to save his complaints for the consortium representatives. Perhaps he can convince them our engines won't implode if we're allowed to operate at full capacity." The Phoenix docked with a gentle shudder. For a human vessel, it was a perfectly executed maneuver, but Ilara knew it would be viewed as clumsy by most alien observers. The ship's exterior, while advanced by Earth standards, lacked the seamless design of Aurelian craft or the biological integration of Zithrani vessels. "Docking complete," announced the ship's AI, designated ARIA, Advanced Responsive Intelligence Algorithm. "Station atmosphere compatible with human physiology. Security protocols in effect." "Thank you, ARIA," Ilara replied. "Maintain minimal crew aboard and initiate diplomatic protocols." As she prepared to disembark with her senior officers, an urgent alert sounded. Chen's fingers flew over his console, his expression growing tense. "Captain, we're receiving a distress call. It's from Research Outpost Epsilon in the Helios cluster. They're under attack." Ilara frowned. The Helios cluster was technically neutral territory, but it bordered Zithrani space. The research outpost was a multi-species initiative studying stellar phenomena. "Put it on screen," she ordered. The view screen flickered, showing the human scientist, her face streaked with sweat and grime, eyes wide with fear. Static interrupted the transmission repeatedly. Zithrani vessels appeared without warning, claiming territorial violation. "Weapons powered. Civilians present. Request immediate assistance." The transmission cut out abruptly. "Distance to the Helios cluster?" Ilara asked. 4 light years, Captain," responded the navigational officer. "Nearest consortium vessel is approximately 10 light years away." Ilara made her decision instantly. "Undock immediately. Set course for Research Outpost Epsilon. Maximum speed." Chen hesitated. "Captain, consortium protocols require clearance for—" "I'm aware of the protocols, Lieutenant," Ilara interrupted. "But those are our people out there. And we're the closest ship. Send notification to Consortium Command. But we're moving now." As the Phoenix disengaged from the station, communications lit up with incoming messages from Consortium officials. Ilara ignored them all. "ARIA, activate the Prometheus drive." There was a moment of silence on the bridge. "Captain," Chen said carefully, "the Prometheus drive hasn't been cleared for use outside of Earth space. The Consortium specifically restricted." "The Consortium isn't aware of its full capabilities," Ilara replied. "And I'd prefer to keep it that way for now." "We're about to bend some rules, Lieutenant, for the greater good." She turned to address the entire bridge crew. "What I'm about to authorize is classified technology. Earth has been developing it in secret because we knew the consortium would never allow us to deploy it. But right now, there are lives at stake." Ilara's gaze swept over her officers, measuring their resolve. "If anyone objects to this course of action, speak now." No one said a word. "ARIA, initiate Prometheus Protocol. Authorization VOS. Alpha 79. Prometheus Protocol initiated. ARIA responded. Reconfiguring drive systems. The ship hummed with new energy as previously dormant systems came online. The Phoenix's conventional engines shut down, and deep within the vessel, the experimental drive activated. It wasn't merely a propulsion system. It was a revolutionary approach to space-time manipulation, drawing inspiration from both Einstein's theories and quantum mechanics. "Prometheus drive online," ARIA announced. "Spatial fold ready." "Execute," Ilara commanded. The stars outside the view screen warped and stretched. There was no violent acceleration, no feeling of movement at all, just a subtle shift in reality as the Phoenix created a controlled fold in space-time, slipping through the fabric of the universe to emerge almost instantaneously at its destination. The entire bridge crew stared in wonder as the Helios cluster appeared before them. The journey that should have taken hours at their best speed had occurred in seconds. "Position us between the outpost and the Zithrani vessels," Ilara ordered, her voice calm despite the gravity of what they had just revealed. "Open a channel to the Zithrani commander." The view screen shifted to show a Zithrani, its iridescent carapace gleaming under the harsh lights of its bridge. Multiple compound eyes fixed on Ilara, with what could only be described as shock. "This is Captain Ilara Voss of the HSS Phoenix," she stated firmly. "You are engaged in an unauthorized attack on a neutral research facility. Stand down immediately." The Zithrani chittered in its native tongue before the translation came through. "Human vessel, your presence is unexpected but irrelevant. This outpost has violated Zithrani sovereign territory by conducting scans of our space. We are enforcing our borders. The outpost is conducting stellar research in neutral territory," Ilara countered. "Your borders end 3 light minutes from this position, as per consortium treaties that your species has signed." "Our interpretation differs," the Zithrani commander replied dismissively. "Remove your primitive vessel, or it will be destroyed along with the outpost." Ilara's expression hardened. "I'm giving you one opportunity to withdraw peacefully." The Zithrani's mandibles clicked in what might have been amusement. "Your single vessel against 3 of our warships. The arrogance of humanity is indeed as legendary as they say." Without warning, the Zithrani vessels opened fire. Energy beams lanced toward the Phoenix, only to encounter something unexpected. The beams curved around the ship as if deflected by an invisible force. "ARIA, activate the Aegis system," Ilara commanded. "Aegis system online," the AI confirmed. "Gravitational distortion field at maximum efficiency." The Phoenix's second secret was now revealed. The Aegis system created localized gravitational distortions that bent enemy fire away from the ship, not a conventional shield, but a way of manipulating the very fabric of space around the vessel. "Target their weapon systems," Ilara ordered. "Precision strikes only." The Phoenix's response was surgical. Beams of concentrated energy, far more advanced than the consortium believed humans capable of producing, struck the Zithrani vessels with unerring accuracy, disabling their primary weapons without destroying the ships. The Zithrani commander's compound eyes widened visibly. "How is this possible? Your technology is not as primitive as you were led to believe," Ilara finished for him. "Now, I'll repeat my offer. Withdraw your vessels immediately." When the Zithrani hesitated, Ilara nodded to her weapons officer. The Phoenix fired again, this time targeting the propulsion systems of the Lid Zithrani ship, immobilizing it. "The next shot disables your life support," Ilara stated, her voice utterly calm. "I won't ask again." The remaining Zithrani vessels began to retreat, leaving their disabled flagship behind. The commander's mandibles clicked rapidly in agitation. "This violation will be reported to the consortium," it threatened. "As will your unprovoked attack on our research outpost," Ilara countered. "I suggest you reconsider your diplomatic strategy." The communication ended abruptly. Ilara turned to Chen. "Contact the outpost and coordinate evacuation of all personnel. We'll transport them to the nearest consortium station." "Captain," Chen began hesitantly, "the consortium will demand explanations for our technology." Ilara nodded. "And they'll get explanations, carefully curated ones. Earth has played the role of the technological novice long enough, Lieutenant. It's time to change the narrative." As the Phoenix began rescue operations, word of the encounter spread rapidly through subspace communications. A human vessel had appeared out of nowhere, defied Zithrani warships, and emerged victorious without taking a single hit. The ship that had been mocked as primitive was suddenly the subject of intense speculation, and in some quarters, fear. Humanity's days of being underestimated were coming to an end. The reckoning. News travels fast in the void between stars, bouncing from relay to relay, whispered in the corridors of space stations, and debated in the grand chambers of the Galactic Consortium. For 2 standard months after the Helios cluster incident, the HSS Phoenix became the subject of countless rumors and theories. Ilara Voss stood before the Consortium Council, her uniform crisp, her posture unyielding. Around her, representatives from 27 species filled the semicircular chamber, their varied physiologies creating a tapestry of alien life. At the center sat the Council's 5 permanent members, the oldest spacefaring races who had founded the consortium millennia ago. "Captain Voss," began Councillor Thalmec, an Aurelian whose crystalline form shimmered with internal light, "you stand accused of deploying restricted technology, violating consortium protocols, and escalating a diplomatic incident with the Zithrani collective." Ilara met the councillor's faceted gaze steadily. "I stand before you having saved 18 lives at the research outpost and prevented an illegal annexation of neutral territory. The technologies you deployed were not registered with the consortium's Technology Oversight Committee," countered Councillor Velnar, a Zithrani representative whose agitation was evident in the rapid clicking of its mandibles. "Earth has deliberately concealed its true capabilities, a serious breach of trust. Earth has protected its innovations while developing them responsibly," Ilara replied. "The Phoenix's systems harmed no one. We disabled Zithrani ships without casualties when we could have destroyed them outright." The chamber erupted in overlapping voices and translated chitters. The Grand Arbiter, a massive jellyfish-like Medusian, suspended in a gravity-controlled environment at the head of the chamber, pulsed with bioluminescence to call for order. "The issue at hand," the Arbiter's synthesized voice echoed, "is not merely one of technology, but of deception. Humanity presented itself as a developing species while secretly harboring advanced capabilities." Ilara stepped forward. "With respect, Arbiter, humanity presented exactly what we are, a young species with great potential. The technologies we developed were born of necessity. When the consortium restricted our engine outputs and weapons capabilities based on our status as newcomers, we were left vulnerable. We adapted, as humans always have." She activated a holographic display showing the Phoenix's encounters since the Helios incident. In the past 2 months, the ship had responded to 3 more distress calls in distant sectors, arriving with impossible speed and resolving conflicts with minimal force. "The Phoenix has saved lives across 4 sectors," Ilara continued. "We've intervened in disputes that the consortium's peacekeeping forces couldn't reach in time. Our technology hasn't been used for conquest or aggression, only for protection." Councillor Janexer, a gaseous entity contained within an articulated exosuit, drifted forward. "Captain Voss, while your interventions have indeed been beneficial, they represent a destabilizing element in our carefully balanced interstellar community. One ship, capable of appearing anywhere almost instantaneously, answerable only to Earth, Many find this concerning. Ilara nodded, acknowledging the point. The Phoenix was a prototype, a proof of concept. Earth is prepared to share aspects of our technology with the consortium under fair terms, including the establishment of a rapid response fleet that can protect all member worlds. This announcement sent another ripple of reaction through the chamber. Humanity offering to share technology was unprecedented. And what would Earth expect in return? Asked Thalmec, skepticism evident in the fluctuating patterns of light within its crystalline form. Equal standing. Ilara answered simply, no more restrictions based on our age as a spacefaring species. No more relegation to auxiliary docking bays. No more condescension. Humanity has earned its place among the stars. Before the Council could respond, alarms blared throughout the chamber. The holographic displays shifted to show a massive fleet emerging from faster-than-light travel near the consortium capital world. The ships were instantly recognizable. Harvesters, the mechanical vanguard of the Void Collective, an extra-galactic force that periodically raided consortium space for resources and technology. 57 harvester vessels, reported a consortium officer, his voice tinged with dread. Our defense fleet is mobilizing, but at current positions, they won't intercept before the harvesters reach the capital's outer habitats. The council chamber erupted in chaos. The Void Collective's raids were rare but devastating. Their technology surpassed even that of the oldest consortium species, and their attacks were calculated for maximum efficiency and minimal risk to their forces. Ilara's communicator chirped. She answered to hear Commander Novak, who had remained aboard the Phoenix. "Captain, we're tracking the Harvester fleet," he reported. AIA has analyzed their approach vector and identified their likely targets, the consortium's antimatter production facilities and data archives. Ilara looked at the council, many of whom were now frantically coordinating evacuation plans and defense strategies. She raised her voice to cut through the noise. "The Phoenix can intercept the Harvester fleet," she announced. "We can buy time for the defensive fleet to mobilize." The chamber fell silent as all attention turned to her. One ship against 57. Councillor Velnar's translator couldn't quite capture the disbelief in its chittering. "Even with your hidden technology, this would be suicide." "The Phoenix is more than it appears," Ilara replied. "But I need the Council's authorization to engage Harvester forces in consortium space." The Grand Arbiter's bioluminescence pulsed rapidly as it consulted with the other Council members through a silent neural interface. Finally, it spoke. "Authorization granted, Captain Voss. The consortium accepts Earth's assistance in this crisis." Ilara nodded sharply. "Commander Novak, you heard the Council. Deploy all systems and intercept the Harvester fleet. Authorization Voss Omega 31. "Understood, Captain," Novak responded. Phoenix engaging. The holographic displays showed the Phoenix detaching from the consortium station. What happened next astonished even those who had heard the rumors about the human vessel. The ship's hull began to transform, sections shifting and reconfiguring. What had appeared to be a conventional spacecraft revealed itself as something far more advanced, a vessel with adaptive architecture, capable of optimizing its configuration for different scenarios. "What we're witnessing," Ilara explained as the Council stared at the display, "is the culmination of humanity's approach to space technology. Our ships don't rely on a single design philosophy like crystalline harmonic resonance or bioorganic integration. We've created a hybrid system that can adapt and evolve." The Phoenix engaged its Prometheus drive, vanishing from its position near the station and reappearing in the path of the Harvester fleet. The human vessel now bristled with weapon systems that had been concealed within its reconfigurable hull. "AIA, initiate the Charid protocol." Commander Novak's voice came through the open channel. The Phoenix began generating a gravitational distortion field far more powerful than what it had used against the Zithrani. The field expanded rapidly, engulfing the leading Harvester vessels. Inside the field, space itself became malleable, disrupting the Harvesters' formation and causing their weapons fire to curve back upon themselves. The Charybdis Protocol creates localized space-time anomalies. Ilara explained to the astonished council. It's an extension of our Aegis defensive system, but on a much larger scale. The Phoenix moved among the harvester ships with impossible agility, its reconfigurable hull constantly adapting to optimize its performance. When harvester vessels managed to focus their fire on the human ship, the Phoenix's hull absorbed the energy, its composite materials converting the incoming attacks into power for its own systems. Impossible, whispered Counselor Thalmec. Their hull is converting energy at an efficiency that violates conventional physics. Not conventional physics, Ilara corrected. Just physics that the consortium hasn't fully explored. Humanity's greatest strength has always been our perspective. We look at problems differently, find connections others miss. On the display, the Phoenix continued its seemingly impossible battle against the harvester fleet. It created gravitational corridors that forced harvester vessels into positions where they blocked each other's line of fire. It generated localized time dilation fields that made sections of harvester ships age and deteriorate rapidly. It deployed swarms of autonomous microdrones that infiltrated enemy vessels and disrupted their systems from within. By the time the consortium defense fleet arrived, 15 harvester vessels had been disabled, 7 had been destroyed, and the rest were retreating, something never before witnessed in encounters with the Void Collective. In the council chamber, silence reigned as the representatives of 27 spacefaring species contemplated the implications of what they had just witnessed. Humanity, the newcomers, had just demonstrated technology that surpassed anything the consortium had developed in millennia of space exploration. The Grand Arbiter's bioluminescence pulsed slowly, thoughtfully, before it spoke. Captain Voss, the consortium owes Earth a debt today. But I must ask, if this is what one human vessel can do, what else has Earth developed that we don't know about? Ilara smiled slightly. Arbiter, humanity doesn't seek dominance or conflict. We've developed these technologies because, as newcomers to a galaxy filled with ancient civilizations, we had to innovate just to survive. The Phoenix represents our philosophy: adaptability, efficiency, and the integration of multiple approaches. She looked around the chamber, meeting the various sensory organs of the assembled representatives. Earth is prepared to share our technological approach with the consortium, to help create a new generation of ships that can better protect all our worlds. But we do so as equals, not as junior partners or technological curiosities. The Council deliberated for 3 standard days following the Harvester incident. When they emerged, their decision was unanimous. Humanity would be granted full standing within the consortium, with all restrictions on Earth's technological development lifted. In return, Earth would establish a joint research initiative to share their unique approach to space-time manipulation and adaptive systems. 6 standard months later, Ilara Voss stood on the bridge of the newly commissioned CSS Prometheus, the first vessel of the consortium's rapid response fleet. Based on Earth's technology, but incorporating elements from a dozen member species, it represented a new era of interstellar cooperation. Captain, reported Lieutenant Chen, now her executive officer, we're receiving a distress call from the Andromeda Reach. Void collective activity detected near the colony worlds. Ilara nodded, her expression determined. Alert the fleet. We move out immediately. As the Prometheus prepared to deploy, Ilara reflected on humanity's journey among the stars, from being dismissed as primitive newcomers to becoming the architects of the consortium's most advanced defense force. It had been a path of challenges and revelations. The ship that was once laughed at was now the template for vessels that inspired both awe and respect across the galaxy. And humanity, once dismissed as barely worthy of notice, had claimed its rightful place among the stars, not through conquest or intimidation, but through innovation, adaptability, and the courage to stand up when it mattered most. The Prometheus engaged its drive, and reality folded around it as the ship slipped between the stars, carrying humanity's legacy of ingenuity into the vast unknown.